on our awesome Australian food adventure.
Well done, bro.
Cheers.
Andrew and I got a taste of seafood cooked up the Aboriginal way.
So inside the stingray, we've got the liver, and the liver can be eaten raw.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude.
Now we're leaving the beach and heading deeper into the ocean. The food we're after today doesn't appear at any tourist beachside bistro.
Jesus. We getting canceled for sure.
These special sea creatures can only be hunted by a select few.
Only Indigenous Australians can hunt it, but if we've got some food, you can actually try some with us.
This is the green sea turtle. And though this hunting ritual may be tough for some to swallow,
We saw a horse taken down, dispatched, slaughtered, and much easier than this.
Way easier.
it's a tradition that's existed here in Australia for thousands of years.
Why is it important that Aboriginal folks here have the right to go and hunt sea turtles?
But before we head to sea, we're warming up with the food the average Australian has never seen before. This steak comes from the cows of the sea, also known as dugong.
I'm told it's kind of like a manatee.
Yeah, it's very similar to the manatee.
First, Clint cuts the meat into bite-sized pieces.
When I saw it, just a big piece of raw meat, it looks like pork.
Yeah, it's very similar to pork. Same sort of fatty texture and the way that the pork is built.
Next, he soaks the dugong meat in a mixture of garlic, chilies, honey, and soy sauce, letting the flavor creep through the muscle fibers. The marinated meat is stir-fried with bok choy and spring onion.
When do people eat this? Is this kind of a special food, or is it a staple that you're going to eat every week?
It's a special food. We have it on like special occasions in this modern day setting, like birthdays and celebrations.
The final product is of something both familiar and foreign, something intriguing and repellent. There is, however, one small holdup. The dugong is a vulnerable species, so before diving in, it'd be nice to know that we're not committing a crime.
Tell me about dugong.
Dugong is a large sea mammal that lives all across the northern waters of Australia. BEFRS eats seagrass, so it's also known as a sea cow.
Despite populating waters of 40 countries and territories, the dugong's numbers are rapidly declining, with around 100,000 left in the wild. Yet they remain an indispensable part of the Aboriginal Australians' traditional diet.
All Indigenous people who come from the northern parts that have the dugong as part of their traditions can all hunt it. But there's Indigenous from the southern half of Australia where the dugong doesn't exist, technically can't hunt these because it's not part of their tradition.
But how is the amount of hunting curtailed or limited to make sure that the animal populations are sustained?
So we have to go out and monitor the number of dugong that's in the wild. If we see that there's a healthy number, it means we can go out and hunt them. But if we see that their numbers have dropped significantly, we won't hunt them and we'll leave them for a few years.
As a testament to the Aboriginal stewardship, Australia proudly boasts the largest population of dugongs in the world.
So the average Australian isn't allowed to hunt it, but if we've got some food, you can actually try some with us.
Ah, it's a first for me.
Dude, I'm like pretty apprehensive, I've got to admit.
I do recommend the fatty bits.
Yeah, I mean, some of these look almost like pork belly, where there's a big layer of fat without the skin on top and then the protein under that. Gentlemen, let's try it out.
Go.
Oh, wow. The texture is very much like a pork chop. The fat part is fatty, but the bit of protein is very lean, even though they're side by side. But that flavor is very unlike many proteins I've had before.
Yeah, I'm really struggling to put, you know, a common touch point on that. It's really, really unique.
I have to try a little bit more. Gosh, how do you describe that flavor? Of course, you put some seasonings on here, so it's peppery and salty. What do you think it tastes like? You think it's just like pork?
It's got a type of pork texture, but to me it's dugong.
The right of hunting dugong is granted to the Aboriginal community through the Native Title Act of 1993. It was a decree preserving cultural rights to the first people of Australia.
It is seen as a controversial food, so it's really important that we hunt properly, ensure that there's enough for the future.
Allowed by the same act is the hunting of sea turtles. Sea turtles hold a special place in people's hearts. They're docile, beautiful, vulnerable. So why is it important for some Aboriginals to maintain a practice that brings so much controversy? The question is best answered by those who engage in the turtle hunting ritual themselves.
My name's Karziem. I hunt about 6 to 7 sea turtles a year.
Why is it okay for people here to hunt sea turtles?
It's a big part of our diet. It's probably one of my main meats that I eat, apart from beef and chicken. I think it's very important for my people to keep hunting, because we've been eating the turtle for thousands of years, so it's definitely been good for us.
The sea turtle is more than just a food source. Hunting the turtle and the dugong are essential for age-old communal ceremonies. To deny this 60,000-year-old tradition is like severing the connection between them and their ancestors. But does that still justify the act of hunting down endangered species?
Our people understand the sea turtles' biology, their seasonal changes, their breeding, everything about them we understand better than anyone, unless someone's actually studied turtles. Because of that, we understand when to hunt, how much to hunt, and when not to hunt. Whereas if the average person who tried to hunt it, they could be taking a female full of eggs and they would diminish their numbers. So we've been able to do this for generations, and the Australian government has recognised it, so they've given us that right and nobody else.
To learn more about this ancient custom, Andrew and I are joining Karziem on his boat, where we'll witness a turtle hunt in person.
Left, taking off, quick!
Followed by a turtle meat barbecue prepared the Aboriginal way.
Oh, dude, what? So the fat is green.
Yeah, man.
Australia's oceans are home to 6 out of 7 sea turtle species, with some of the biggest nesting grounds in the world. But conquering this majestic creature on its own turf takes more than just a skilled hunter. It takes a team.
Oh, left, yards, left!
Karziem's trusty brother-in-law, Richard, guides the rudder at Karziem's command.
This way, yards? He's there!
The turtles we're after prefer to leisurely stroll at 1 to 6 miles per hour, but in the face of danger, they can hit speeds up to 22 miles per hour.
Left, yards! Yeah, he didn't give me much of a chance, eh?
But these speed bursts create an increasing demand for oxygen, meaning the turtle can't retreat to the depths.
You can see him, yards? Right, yards!
Rather, it must stay near the surface, breaching more often for air.
Can one of you give me the speed?
Such a moment is precisely when Karziem is able to strike.
Got him. So, yep. Watch your feet, boys.
This is a green sea turtle, the largest hard-shelled marine turtle, able to grow to 4.5 feet and weigh 350 pounds.
The turtle we got today weighs about 80 kilos. I usually don't like to hit him too hard. I just like to get the harpoon in a bit, not to damage any organs or anything inside, in case we want to let it go.
This is the harsh, lopsided nature of nature. A tragic day for this magnificent creature and a cause for celebration for Karziem and his family.
I do feel sorry, and I say sorry to the animal when I kill it, but at the end of the day, it's what I eat it, and I get to feed the family, and yeah.
Wow. I could say that affected me a lot more than I thought it would. I don't know what it is about turtles. One time I went to Hanoi, I went to a restaurant where they brought a turtle to our table and they slit its neck at the table. And it really bothered me, which is weird because I've been all around the world and I've seen everything from giant camels get slaughtered, goats. I shot a friggin' zebra in South Africa, but there's something about turtles that makes me just have pure sympathy for them. Going into this episode, I knew I would have the opportunity to eat sea turtle because among the indigenous folks who live here, some of them have turtle in their homes, in their freezers, or in their refrigerators. But I didn't think it was fair for me to just go to someone's house and try it out without seeing the full process and seeing how it worked for myself. So I wanted to go see it. Even for me, even for somebody who is fully aware that there's so many, hypocritical people out there when it comes to food and what's okay to consume, what's not okay to consume, it can still be difficult to set aside my personal feelings on the topic or on the animal. I can totally see for these young guys here who are just part of a long lineage where this has been happening for thousands of years. It's another animal. It doesn't mean they don't have any feelings toward it, but they have a purpose in doing what they're doing. And I think it's important for me to put a spotlight and to create a platform to share the stories of the people here. In these situations when it's really difficult to separate yourself from your own feelings, I think it's more important to focus on the culture and the people and to go outside yourself. This isn't my story. This isn't about my feelings. This is about the people here. This is about a tradition that's existed for thousands of years and still goes on today.
Having dispatched and portioned his catch, Karziem saves the remaining meat in a cooler to later share with his family and friends. But his favorite cuts have been saved for us, starting with the turtle liver. Karziem slices the organ into thin pieces and places them on the grill. He continuously flips the meat until it's ready to be served.
Gentlemen, I just want to take stock of how unique a moment this is, especially for Andrew and I. I mean, that's just not an opportunity you come across often.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. On one hand, I'm kind of honored, and on the other hand, I'm still incredibly apprehensive. When you're faced with the food in front of you and having just seen this creature pulled out of the ocean, it's hard not to think about it.
Andrew and I went to Mongolia. We saw a horse get taken down, dispatched, slaughtered, and much easier than this.
Way, way easier. It's hard to know why. It doesn't make logical sense.
No.
But it does affect you.
We have the liver right here. This is a unique texture. It's kind of squishy. Is there something particularly special about the liver itself?
With a lot of animals, predatory species, they'll actually target things like the liver and heart and stuff like that because of how much benefit it has compared to the ordinary meat. So we're a predator at the end of the day, so that's what we also want to eat.
It's like a multivitamin, an ancient multivitamin.
Right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, boys.
Mushy, slightly briny. It tastes of kelp.
Yeah, it really does.
Has a slight bitter bile flavor.
Yeah.
A ton of minerality.
Oddly, it's got a green tinge to it. Dude, it is way creamier than most livers.
Yeah, that may be due to the medium nature to which he cooked it.
Sure.
Ooh, that's intense.
That's all right. I've never been a fan of the liver. Turtle liver is intense, but I understand it's really good for you.
Okay, doesn't mind.
Yep, don't mind.
And he's got the whole thing in his mouth, so I think that says enough. Do you think indigenous folks here see a sea turtle strictly as like a source of protein, or do they see the beauty in it too, or both?
When I was growing up, I always loved turtles just because of their beauty as well. And when my grandfather was teaching me how to hunt turtle, I used to get really emotional. And when he would go to kill it, he would make me do it. I remember I used to cry when I was killing a turtle, so I actually understand how you feel. But from his perspective, he was trying to toughen me up, keep my emotions inside so that I could do the job so that we could feed the family. At the end of the day, we use it as a food source, like I said, and we're doing it as sustainably as we possibly can.
It's not for sport, it's not going to waste, and it's going to feed a lot of people.
Yep,
The most prized part of the turtle is what?
chest plate.
And that is just the whole front, like bottom section right here, right?
Yep.
All right, I guess we're trying that next.
Utilizing the turtle's chest plate as a cooking vessel, Karziem puts it on the open fire, roasting the attached chest meat.
Why do you like this part so much?
I like it because it has a nice flavor. So I like the room tail that we had. It doesn't do a lot of moving, so it's the most tenderest part.
What about you?
I like the whole process of it being cooked over the fire. It definitely makes it taste better.
It's like when you rotisserize a pig over a fire and the skin keeps in the juices. It's like a nature's plate with a bunch of meat stuck onto it. You just toss it on the fire, flip it a few times, and it's ready to go. Shall we dig in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that tastes like 4 different animals. As I bit into it, I was thinking chicken, pork, fish, frog. In that order.
The weirdest thing, it kind of tastes like the goanna we ate on the first day.
It's got that similar flavor to the goanna. They're both reptiles.
The pork part would be more the texture. It's not super lean, but it is like a juicy pork chop in the way that it tastes.
And the visuals, they kind of look like strips, big strips of pork.
Wow, it's fascinating.
How much meat do you get out of one turtle?
A lot of meat, I'd say at least 60 kilos.
So do you see them bigger than this?
Yeah, they get like twice the size of it.
Friggin'
That's wild. There seem to be heaps of them. We saw, 10 before we caught this one.
A lot of people don't like the fact that we as indigenous people are still eating turtle and when the rest of the world isn't. But our practices have worked. They've worked for thousands of years. We're eating turtle at least maybe once a fortnight, but there's still so many out there.
What is this green part?
That's the fat. You can have a taste of that.
Oh, dude, what? That's fat?
Yeah.
Do you eat it on its own or with some meat?
You can have it on its own, you can eat it with the meat as well.
Yeah, so on its own.
He said with the meat.
Yeah, but that seems easy. Cheers. That's quite good.
That's really good, actually.
Wow, oh my God, it's like if seaweed was infused into pork fat and then you fried that until it was crunchy. Holy cow.
Who would have thought green fat tastes good?
Why does that make you laugh?
Oh, nah. Yeah, it really does taste good, eh?
Yeah, I need a little bit more of that.
This is by far the most unique turtle experience I've ever had. I've only had turtle maybe 2 other times. I swore it off because I find them to be quite adorable, but that fat is so good, wow. Jesus, I feel guilty. I don't like it so much. Oh no. We getting canceled for sure. This is the end of my career, Andrew, so thank you for one last video.
Not a problem.
You brought up an interesting point earlier, which is that years and years ago, the Europeans came here, they saw the turtles, they were slaughtering them en masse, and then canning them and then shipping them back to Europe.
European colonization crashed upon Australia in the 1800s, triggering intense exploitation of newly discovered marine resources. After over a century, commercial netting was banned, but not before the population had plummeted to alarming levels.
And meanwhile, time goes by and people are telling you that you shouldn't be able to eat your food.
Yeah.
It's not really fair.
Yeah.
And to kind of switch gears for a second, I want to ask, you know, the history here when it comes to how indigenous people here and across the island have been treated, when it comes to the pain and suffering they've endured, it's extreme and it's immeasurable.
80% of the indigenous population declined within the first century of European contact. Hundreds of Aboriginal languages and customs became extinct. Over 20,000 Aboriginal children were removed from their families. These disturbing numbers portray only part of a dark era endured by the Aboriginal communities under European colonization.
And I'm wondering how you go through that, how you inherit that, but don't carry around any bitterness as far as I can see. You don't seem like a jaded person, a bitter person. Can you talk about that?
Obviously, a lot of bad things have happened in our history, but our people have always been a resilient people, and that's why we've been able to survive here for such a long time. And I think that resilience makes us stronger in not just in our mind, but in our heart and our emotions. We can handle a lot of things, and we can take whatever comes at us and we can move forward from it, because we know we'll still be here for a long time. So we're like, well, if we're gonna be here for future generations, there's no point worrying about things. Let's just keep doing things, keep moving forward, work hard and feed our family and keep our culture strong. And that to us is the most important thing. And so one of the main things we really want to do is teach people our way, because our way is the way that works in this country, and that way can teach a lot of people how to live properly on this land, so that the rest of the world can learn something and, you know, see these new different foods that they haven't seen before.
Oh, they're gonna learn a lot, whether they like it or not.
Yeah.
Elevate your style with our brand new clothing collection. Rock out in our threads, feel the thrill of culinary adventures, and celebrate with us in style. Head on over to BEFRS.shop today.
Boom, guys, that is our final video here in Western Australia. Next, we're going to Tasmania. It's way on the other side. It's pretty far from here. We have to take an airplane. Do you see an airplane? No. Oh. All right. I want to say a huge thank you to my dude Andrew here for joining me and for coming along. He's actually Australian, isn't that fun?
Confirmed Australian.
You can find Andrew right here on his YouTube channel. Right now he's posting a series about an ethnic minority group in Vietnam called the
Katu.
It's very interesting. It features a lot of local food too. Please check it out. That is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. All right. Oof. That's probably my last video, I think.
Yeah, I think you're fucked, dude.
I think I'm fucking canceled for that one.
Jesus.
I mean, people have to, they gotta understand.
That's way worse than a zebra.
Yeah.